going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Thursday, December 7th, 2023. But just a reminder, if you have a moment, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out a ton. Appreciate all the love and support from you guys. We just passed 100 million views here on our YouTube channel. Could not have done that without you guys. So thank you so much for that. Also, if you're looking for my best bets on the board, the games that I love the most, make sure you head to pickdawgz.com. Click the premium picks tab at the top of the page. Let's get you guys some money. We had a great day at the premiums yesterday. Hoping to carry that forward into Thursday's action. I know the holidays are here. The Christmas is upon us. So, and those presents, you know, for the little ones, for that special someone in your life, can be a little bit expensive. And those credit card bills start racking up before you know it. So, you know, I want to make you guys some money. So, like I said, hop over to the premium section at Pick Dawgz and let's cash some winners together. But enough about that. We've got a 13-game NHL card on Thursday. Tons of action top to bottom. Let's check it out. You ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game on Thursday takes us to the TD Garden, where the Boston Bruins take on the Buffalo Sabres. And, you know, the Buffalo Sabres will provide value in an underdog role, you know, in spots for us. And this is some tempting plus money to take with them. But the problem here is they're still 5-7-2 on the road this season. They're not playing great hockey right now. They've lost 4 straight coming into this game. 3 of those 4 losses have come on the puck line. And not only that, Boston, while still playing some solid hockey, they're back to winning 3 games in a row. 2 of those have come on the puck line. Both of them were at home. The reality is that Boston has flat out owned the Buffalo Sabres in the past. They've won 20 of the last 22 meetings. A bunch of those have come by 2 or more goals. So I'm going to just ride that trend. I'm going to take the Boston Bruins here. I'm going to take them on the puck line over the Buffalo Sabres. Next, we're going to the Little Caesars Arena, where the Detroit Red Wings take on the San Jose Sharks. And don't look now, but the San Jose Sharks are starting to win some hockey games, on the road. You know, you look, they beat the New York Islanders, they beat the New Jersey Devils, they kept things close against New York Rangers. Maybe the San Jose team is starting to wake up. And remember, last time I gave them the benefit of the doubt, it was against the Vegas Golden Knights as plus 400 underdogs and got their teeth kicked in 5-0. But I get it. The Detroit Red Wings have won 3 in a row and 6 of 7, and they're playing some solid hockey right now. But am I really ready to lay minus 285 or even chase a puck line with the Detroit Red Wings? Maybe I'm living in the past. Maybe I'm still associating that kind of stigma with the Detroit Red Wings, that maybe they're not supposed to have this kind of success. But I can't get past the Sharks and the recent success that they've had. So I'm going to take the Sharks here plus 1.5. But I'm also going to take the over 6.5 in this one. You look at a lot of the games that these two teams have been playing lately. Of the 6 games that the Detroit Red Wings have won, all 6 games have seen them score at least 4 goals. They've scored 4 or more goals in 8 of their last 10. And San Jose, well, each of their last 3 games have seen totals of 9 or more hit. They've scored 5 or more goals in 3 straight, and 4 or more in 4 of 6. So give me the Sharks here plus the goal and a half, with a lean towards the over 6.5 as well in this one. Now we head to the Bell Center, where the Montreal Canadiens take on the Los Angeles Kings. And, well, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Los Angeles Kings now 10-0 on the road. Last time they cut it a little bit close. They had to come from behind to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets. They needed 3 third-period goals and an overtime winner to get the win there. But, you know, it is what it is. And they're not going to cover the puck line in every single game they play on the road. But the Montreal Canadiens, they're inconsistent. They've split their last 6 games. They did just beat the Seattle Kraken at home 4-2, but it's still hard for me to get on board with the Habs, who are still 6-7-1 at home this season. Like I said, LA, I think they're going to keep the win streak going on the road here, and the only way to really get any sort of value in this game is to take them on the puck line here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the Kings on the puck line, head-to-head with Montreal. The Kings have won 5 straight, including 3 of 5 wins by 2 or more goals. So I'm going to take the Los Angeles Kings on the puck line in this one. Next, we head to the Canadian Tire Center for another installment of the Battle of Ontario, as the Ottawa Senators take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And, you know, these Battle of Ontario matchups, take it from me being a Leafs fan, can get very hairy if you're a Leafs fan. They can, you know, a lot of times you expect the Leafs to go in and beat up on the Sens, and there have been times where Ottawa just decides to spring an upset or keep games close. But a lot of those times where it's been a little bit hairy, I've seen the Leafs as heavy favorites. And I'm not seeing the Leafs as a heavy favorite here. I'm seeing them around minus 125. And quite frankly, I'm not going to pass up on the Leafs at this kind of price. I think they're just a more talented team here. They're 5-2-3 on the road this season. The Senators are 8-7 at home. They've won back-to-back home games against the Rangers and the Kraken. But this is a game that, like I said, Toronto normally takes seriously. They show up to play their provincial rival, and Toronto's won 6 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams. I think Toronto wants to get back on track here. They lost that heartbreaker against the Bruins last time out. They've still won 6 of their last 9 games. So I'm going to take the Maple Leafs here. But with the way the Leafs have played a lot of overtime as of late, 3 straight games needing more than 60 minutes, 5 of 6 needing more than 60 minutes, might be worth sprinkle a little bit on the game to go to overtime as well, or the 60-minute tie. Next, we're going to the UBS Arena where the New York Islanders take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. This is going to be an interesting matchup. The Islanders have done a decent job of sort of righting the ship a little bit. They've won 5 of their last 8 games, but they are coming off of a loss to the San Jose Sharks in their last outing. And realistically, I've said it before and I'll stick with it. The Islanders like to play, or at least in the past have liked to play, a physical, defensive style, gritty style of hockey where they like to get under their opponent's skin. They don't resort on to a ton of goal scoring, but they do enough to sort of get themselves over. The problem is that the Islanders have strayed from that style, and it hasn't resulted in the most consistent hockey because it's almost like a shock to the system. Playing a completely new philosophy and play style. And I think the Columbus Blue Jackets could potentially come in and give the Islanders a bit of a shock as well. The Islanders, they're coming off of that 4-3 overtime loss to the LA to the hands of the LA Kings. That was a game where Columbus was in control. They were up 3-0 before 3 third period goals did them in. They went to overtime and lost that game. But I still think Columbus has a shot here. You look at the head-to-head matchups between these two teams, just going back to the last season, of the last 7 meetings, 5 of them have been 1-goal games, and a couple of them have needed overtime as well. Like I said, the Islanders just aren't blowing teams away as of late. They're not covering puck lines. So give me the Blue Jackets plus the 1.5 here. I think if the Islanders win this one, I think it's a 1-goal game. So give me Columbus plus 1.5. Next, we head to Bridgestone Arena where the Nashville Predators take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And another interesting matchup here is the Nashville Predators have been playing some solid hockey for the most part. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. But the thing for me is that they've beaten up on a lot of lesser teams in that stretch. Not all of them have been against lesser opponents, but you have a pair of wins against the Chicago Blackhawks. You got the Buffalo Sabres. You've caught the Winnipeg Jets and St. Louis Blues while they're down. The Calgary Flames have not been one of my favorite teams going back for a while now. So I'm not knocking Nashville for beating who's been put in front of them. I'm just saying that the run has to kind of be analyzed and taken with a grain of salt. It's not just as easy as saying they're 8-2 in their last 10. Now Tampa Bay comes to town, and Tampa Bay, they were dreadful last week. They were not a good hockey team. I crapped on them, and I was a little bit ready to write off the Lightning and Andrei Vasilevskiy until they showed me something. Well, I say that, and what happens? Andrei Vasilevskiy turns in a pair of vintage Vasilevskiy performances, gives up 1 goal in those 2 games, combined 50 saves. The Lightning win against the Dallas Stars and Pittsburgh Penguins by a combined score of 7-1. And now they go into Nashville, a building where they've had some success. And head-to-head, the Lightning have owned this matchup. They've won 5 straight between these two teams. They won the first meeting in Tampa Bay earlier this season 5-3. And right now, I just feel like the Lightning are just playing solid hockey, and if they can keep this up, I've said before, the Lightning usually have an 8 or 9 game win streak that they just seemingly pop up out of nowhere. I think this could be the start of that. So give me the Tampa Bay Lightning on the money line in this one. Next, we head to the Capital One Arena where the Washington Capitals take on the Dallas Stars. And, the Dallas Stars, I was on them in their first couple games of this road trip. So I thought maybe over the course of their little trip to Florida, they'd be able to string some wins together, being one of the better road teams in the NHL. Didn't pan out, blew up in my face as they lost 5-4 to the Florida Panthers. But call me stubborn, old habits die hard. I got to go back to the Dallas Stars here. I'm a little bit concerned about the Washington Capitals. I mean, they looked like they were showing some signs of life. Maybe they had turned things around, but as of now, they're not there right at the moment. They've lost 4 of their last 6 games. In 5 of their last 6, even with a win, they've scored 2 goals or less. That plays right into Dallas' style. Dallas likes to play a low-scoring defensive style. They've got the pieces to do it. And even if they don't like to play a defensive style, they've got a solid, offensive core to really do some damage. They've got a great goaltender in Jake Ottinger, a capable backup in Scott Wedgwood. I think the Dallas Stars are the play here at minus 146. I'm also looking for them to win a low-scoring game, though, maybe a under 3-2 kind of game. Head-to-head between these two teams, Dallas has won the last three, and a lot of them have been low-scoring games. The last last 5 meetings have all gone under the total, seeing 5 goals or less. So give me the Dallas Stars with a lean towards the under 5.5 in this one. Now we head to the United Center where the Chicago Blackhawks take on the Anaheim Ducks. And two teams that could desperately use a win right now. The Anaheim Ducks, they managed to snap their losing streak, but got back into those old habits. They lost 3-2 to the Avalanche in the rematch. Game the Avalanche had covering the puck line, but then at least Anaheim, they showed maybe a little bit of fight. They scored 2 late goals in the third period, but still wasn't enough. Chicago, on the other hand, they've lost 4 straight. 3 goals or less in all 4 games, and they've scored 3 goals or less in 8 of their last 10. Funny enough, I guess not funny enough, all losses to no one's surprise. So, two teams that are struggling right now. Normally, I would suggest that maybe that lends itself to a bit of a higher scoring game, considering two teams, you end up in a spot like this by really not playing good defense. But in hockey as well, you also falter and fall into habits and spots like this by not having enough offense. That's why I'm going with the under 6 here. I just see this as being, an ugly game for 60 minutes. First to 3 wins this one if we even get to that point. I could see a 3-1 kind of game on either side. So give me the under 6 in this one. Next, we head to the Mullet Arena where the Arizona Coyotes take on the Philadelphia Flyers. And, two teams that have definitely surprised a lot of folks over the course of the season. Both teams playing well right now. Both are 6-3-1 in their last 10 entering this one. And the Philadelphia Flyers, they're coming off of back-to-back wins over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Some nice rivalry wins in there. They've needed overtime or a shootout in either of those games. They've actually needed one in 4 of their last 5 games and in 3 straight. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do it here. I think the Arizona Coyotes are a team that, like I've said before, probably going to provide some value. And is it always, ideal to back them in the favorite role? No, but it's a little bit easier to stomach when they're playing as well as they are right now. They've won 5 straight games. They're playing their best hockey at home, and they've beaten some tough customers in those home games as well. They beat the Lightning. They beat the Avalanche in overtime. They beat the St. Louis Blues. They just shut out and stomped the Washington Capitals 6-0 in a game where Arizona was leading 5-0 after the first period. Don't get me wrong, I like the Philadelphia Flyers, maybe the direction that they're headed. They have a solid road record this season already to start, 7-4-1. But the Arizona Coyotes are just rock solid at home. They have been since they moved into Mullet Arena. So give me the Arizona Coyotes here. My concern with the Coyotes, they are a little bit banged up, but I think they do enough here to get themselves the win at home here. So give me the Coyotes at minus 120. Next, we head to the Scotiabank Saddledome where the Calgary Flames take on the Carolina Hurricanes. And, two teams that are in dire straits right now. The Carolina Hurricanes just coming off of a beatdown loss at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers in their last game, 6-1. The Calgary Flames, they lost back-to-back games. They've given up 9 goals combined in those 2 games. They were at home. To me, the cap on this game is simple. Even though the Carolina Hurricanes have been struggling in their last couple of games, this is still a team that's putting up 3.28 goals per game. In their last 10, still 3.2. Calgary, they're putting up 2.92 goals per game, but 3.4 goals per game in their last 10. Two teams with, in my eyes, questionable goaltending. Got to take the over 6 in this one. Next, we're going to the Ball Arena where the Colorado Avalanche take on the Winnipeg Jets. This is sneaky potential for me to be one of the games of the night. These are two teams that are playing some solid hockey right now. The Avs 9-2 at home this season. The Winnipeg Jets 6-3-1. Winnipeg, they won back-to-back games, giving up 1 goal in each. The Colorado Avalanche, they just snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 3-2 win over the Ducks. So going back and forth on this game, I lean towards the Avs because they are at home in this one, but I also like the under 6 goals. The Winnipeg Jets, they've scored 2 goals or less in 4 of their last 5, 3 goals or less in each of their last 7 games. And the Colorado Avalanche, stout defensively as well. And when they're on, they're really on point defensively. I think, to me, this is just a 3-2 kind of game. I think at the absolute worst, you get a push at 4-2, but I'm taking the under 6 here, also with the Avalanche at minus 154. Now we head to Rogers Arena where the Vancouver Canucks take on the Minnesota Wild. And a bit of an interesting matchup here. You know, the Vancouver Canucks still have one of the best records in the NHL up to this point. They're 8-3-1 at home this season, but they've been a little bit inconsistent as of late. They've alternated wins and losses in each of their last 9 games. And if you follow that pattern, if you're a believer in patterns like that, that would normally suggest that, hey, maybe the Vancouver Canucks bounce back here. Well, I'm going to say not so fast. The Minnesota Wild, they've won 4 in a row since making their coaching change. The defense has stepped up, which was a big problem for Minnesota earlier this season, where the goaltending really couldn't stop a beach ball. But now look at them. They've allowed 2 goals or less in each of their last 4 games during this win streak. They beat a couple decent teams in there. They beat the St. Louis Blues. They beat the Nashville Predators in the midst of their win streak. They also have wins over the Calgary Flames and Chicago Blackhawks. And now, Minnesota, they're taking on a Vancouver team that they've had the upper hand on for the last, couple years. They've won the last 6 meetings the Wild have between these two teams. And I think that, the regression monster, it was sneaking up on the Vancouver Canucks, but I think it's finally got a hold of them here. Am I writing off the Vancouver Canucks? I'm not, in no way, shape, or form. I think this Vancouver Canucks team is going to be solid as we progress throughout the season. I have this as a playoff team right now. But the Minnesota Wild, they have momentum after making the coaching change. They know they have some work to do to dig themselves out of the hole. And I think they get the job done here. And until we see the Wild falter post-coaching change, I'm going to keep riding the hot hand, especially when we're getting plus money. So give me the Minnesota Wild at plus 105. And our final game on Thursday's card takes us to Climate Pledge Arena, where the Seattle Kraken take on the New Jersey Devils. And the Seattle Kraken, just really can't seem to get out of their own way right now. They've lost 5 games in a row. A couple of them have been close against teams like Toronto and Chicago. But now they head back home where, going back to last season, they historically have not been a strong team. They're 4-6-1 at home on the year. And now they welcome a New Jersey team that's trying to find themselves again. They've won 4 of their last 5. The goal scoring has not been an issue. The goaltending has been a little bit concerning. You give up 6 goals to the Sharks and 5 even in a win against the Canucks. I'm still a little bit nervy but the New Jersey Devils have scored 4 or more in 4 of their 5 games. All 4 of those games have been wins. And I think they do enough here. The Seattle Kraken, like I said, I think the Kraken have just stumbled and fallen on hard times right now. And until I see the Seattle Kraken really show signs of life, when you're getting a really good team like the New Jersey Devils on the other side with a reasonable price tag, I think you got to take it. So give me the New Jersey Devils on the money line to round things out. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Thursday, December 7th, 2023. Again, if you like this video, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and also make sure you have notifications turned on. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when the newest and most up-to-date content drops here at Pick Dawgz. And also, if you're looking for my best bets, again, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. And also make sure to let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.